how did you feel like the American society sort of changed after that incident?
Well, a lot of good things happened and a lot of bad things happened. First that happened is they came together as a nation and they all were one. And I guess that was the way that they were good about it. The bad thing is that the racism and the fear and hatred of Muslims, Muslims in America who were totally innocent, Muslims in other parts of the world who had nothing to do with 9/11 because a small group of basically a cult who misinterprets Islam and was funded and watered and loved by the CIA to fight the Soviets in Afghanistan. Those were the guys that were involved in this. And I even have no idea to this day if that was something that somebody somewhere in the West planned in order to be able to prime the US population to get away with things that would have never been able to get away with unless they had a big incident happen. So to the extent that the US government or anybody within the US government or the CIA would have been directly involved in planning 9/11 or knowing about it, I don't know if that's true or not. Maybe not so likely as it's much more likely that by creating this monster,
you get a chance to do what you want.
That it was going to blow back on us because basically you're taking Quranic scripture, you're going to Nebraska and you're printing books about jihad that twist everything about the religion into something you want it to be. And then you go and send all that back and you spend all this money to take all of these young men who are poor, disaffected, just disillusioned, don't have a lot of opportunity. And you make sure you fund the right people so that a lot of these guys will get hyped up for jihad against Soviet Union. And you use the religion for your own aims and you twist the religion and you twist people's minds. And then later when you're done with them and you leave them to Afghanistan or wherever, don't think they're going to come back to bite you. You know, how can you control that? Because not only did they do this in Afghanistan and Pakistan to recruit all these people, but once the war was over, all of these people that came to fight from Egypt, from wherever, Yemen, from all sorts of places, went back to their countries and decided that they were going to start that there. So whether it's on purpose or whether it's just by stupid strategy, the US government caused 9/11 to happen. There's no doubt in my mind. There may be a few people even in the government that had this in mind, knowing that they could do a lot more damage and have a lot more power and do a lot of the things that unfortunately we find out that the CIA has done. We hear about these things 50 years later, all the stuff they've done. So it doesn't stretch the imagination too far to know that maybe some people were involved in actually making something like this occur so that they could use it. That would be really, really evil.
Yeah.
Maybe that happened. But definitely at the very minimum, they set up all the circumstances to create a group of people that was going to be useful for us for a certain amount of time. But once our usefulness was done, we didn't debrief them. We didn't rebuild Afghanistan. We put $5 billion into Stinger missiles so that they could blow the Taliban and Al Qaeda or whoever was there could blow out the sky these gunships, these Soviet gunships. We spent that much money on them. But when the war was over and we were the big victors and we were the lone superpower, we didn't even bother to spend $5 million to rebuild Afghanistan.
True.
So we left it in this condition and we left those people to go all over the world and spread that ideology that we helped to plant. So, I mean, anybody with any sense should have known that we were going to be next, you know?